This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting. Today, I'm very lucky to be joined by Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So thank you very much for coming on, Stephen.
Anytime, man. Glad you're having me on, bro. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. And so what's going on for you, Stephen, and how's training at Upstate Karate?
It's awesome, man. Upstate Karate is kind of my family's gym. We've been open for about 38 years, and this is where me and my brothers and sisters grew up. But it's awesome. It's going great. We got about 750 students, aging from 3 all the way up to, I think our oldest is like 75. So we're crushing it, bro. We're having a great time. Training's going good too. Training's going good. Of course, I'm on the injured list at the moment, but there's always something I can do here in the gym.
And do you find it hard coaching people and training yourself? Can you find time for both things?
I find time for both. Always, ever since I was 15 years old and had my first kickboxing fight, I was teaching kids. I teach kids classes during the day. In the morning, I train. In the afternoon, I train. And in the evening, I train around 8 o'clock, 2, sometimes 3 times a day. So, this is life for me.
Well, that sounds like a very busy schedule. And do you find you train a lot harder when you have a fight date and an opponent coming up, rather than just training about that?
Oh, it is a little bit better I train harder for sure when I have a fight coming up, just because I have something to focus on. I have a visual on an opponent. I see their face, and it's just go time. I ramp my training up. I become a different person in the gym. I'm more focused for sure. But I'm still training all the time, and like I said, it's who I am. Just like GSP, just like Conor McGregor. Even when we don't have fights coming up, we're always doing something. But it is a little bit easier when you have a face to prepare for.
I can imagine. And so you had a great win last December, getting a win over Jeff Neal by unanimous decision. Going into that fight, you'd been out of the octagon for over a year. Did that worry you at all? And did you think ring rust was going to affect you in that fight?
No, I didn't. I felt better than ever, to be honest with you. Yeah, I was out for a year. I ended up, breaking both my hands during the Vicente Luque fight. But you know, getting the training in, training every day, even though I didn't have a fight coming up and I've been out for a year, I was always doing something, helping my teammates get ready for their fights. So I didn't think it was hard at all, even though it was like a 5.5 week training camp, which is like, a lot shorter than normal. But I felt the best shape of my life, man. I felt really good out there against Jeff Neal. And Jeff Neal's a tough dude. He's been knocking guys out undefeated in the UFC. So to get a win off of Jeff Neal was definitely a 2 thumbs up for me. I definitely walked out of that thing with a smile on my face. Even though I had injury, it was awesome.
And how did it feel fighting without any fans in the arena?
It wasn't that bad, to be honest. I mean, I kind of liked it more. I could hear my coaches very well. I could hear my opponent's coaches. So I kind of knew what my opponent was going to do. And anyway, when you're out there fighting to begin with, you really don't hear anything except for your coaches anyway. So you almost kind of like drown out the crowd. So it wasn't anything fairly different, to be honest with you. But, you do kind of feed off of the energy, before a fight when there's a huge crowd there to watch you scrap, like in New York City or in Vegas. You feed off the fans' energy, and it kind of hypes you up a little bit. So it was awesome. So in that part, like, I can't wait, but at the same time, I don't mind not fighting in front of people.
I guess UFC and boxing are one of the two sports where it's as good as if you haven't got any fans, because then you still hear the shots land. And lots of fighters are also saying that they found it hard to get the adrenaline rush up because there's no fans there. You didn't struggle with that at all? Getting yourself hyped up?
Nah, because I knew everybody back home. Yeah, not at all. Because I knew everybody back home was still watching. There's still people, millions of people across the world, and I'm out there fighting not just for myself, not just for the fans, but for everybody to help me prepare, get there. Like my coaches, my teammates. I'm fighting for them, so I still feel the nerves. I still feel fired up to go out there and scrap, because it's just not me in the octagon. I got my coaches and teammates and everybody that sacrificed their time to help me get there.
And since you got the win over Jeff Neal, you're now a top 5 in the world. And I kind of feel like when you're a top 5 in the world, you're kind of being available for a title shot anytime. You can get a title shot called upon you. Who would you like to, if you got the decision, who would you like to fight next in the UFC if it wasn't for a title?
If it wasn't for a title, I would say either George Masvidal, because we fought before, and he's the BMF, so the NMF versus the BMF would be awesome. Or Leon Edwards. Of course, I know these guys have fights coming up, possibly Masvidal against Colby, but you know, it would be great to have a fight against him or Leon Edwards, who also has a fight.
That sounds great. In this world, I just wanted to talk about the fights that happened just last weekend between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. You must have watched it, right?
Oh, I was, yeah, of course I watched that. Got it. Can't miss that. Cannot miss that.
And going into the fight, who did you think was going to come out on top?
I thought it was going to be Conor McGregor, to be honest with you. But as soon as the first round started, and he didn't move around like he normally does, he kind of had that boxing mentality of plodding forward. And he usually out there bouncing. He's light-footed. He's in and out, kind of has that karate movement. I figured it was going to be a bad day for Conor McGregor. I mean, he was susceptible for those low calf kicks. Daniel Poirier, he took advantage of that situation, threw a few low calf kicks, and it was gone from there. So I had Conor McGregor winning that fight, but the way he was moving, it didn't help him at all out there.
I thought that his best performance was against Eddie Alvarez, where he looked really loose. But in this fight, he looked especially stiff. And where do you think both fighters go from here?
Well, not sure. I know Conor McGregor wants to stay more active, instead of just fighting once a year. But he's the UFC's cash cow, and I don't think they'll allow him to do that. So I don't know where. I think maybe they'll fight each other again, just because they're 1-1. Can I have that trilogy? One Conor, one Poirier. Maybe go back and fight again. Dustin Poirier possibly, fighting for a title next. I would love to see that versus Volkanovski. So we'll see.
And there's another fantastic fight coming up in your weight division, the welterweight division, between Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns. A lot of people are saying it's Kamaru's toughest test because just stylistically and the fact that they're both training from the same team. But who do you have winning that one between Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns?
That's a good one. It's kind of up in the air. This is definitely Kamaru Usman's toughest fight yet. Burns is good everywhere. He's got explosive. I think he's faster with the striking than Usman. He's got great jiu-jitsu. But that said, Usman is, he sticks to his game plan, man. He's an intelligent fighter. So he's going to be ready for this fight. For Usman, I think it's good that he's actually getting a different look with different coaches at a new gym. Because they both have trained. I think they have over 1,000 sparring sessions together, Burns and Usman. So they know each other very well. So I'm excited to kind of see how this fight's going to go. But I'm not sure, man. This is a tough one. I like Usman because I think he's a great champ. I think Usman can probably neutralize Burns' jiu-jitsu on the ground with his top game. So I guess I want to go with Usman.
And if you were going to fight Usman, what would you train for specifically? Obviously, be the wrestling, but what would kind of be your game plan going into that, or do you not want to reveal?
Well, obviously, try not to get taken down. I mean, that's his game plan. He's going to try and get you to the cage. Going to try and get you down. He's got a gas tank for days. Guy's got great cardio. So obviously, work on my cardio. Make sure my cardio is on point. Work on that takedown defense. And of course, stay on my toes and try and pick them apart from the outside.
I guess that's true because you'll be a lot taller and you have definitely the reach. Anyway, I've only got one more question because I know you're a very busy man. Where did you originally get the nickname Wonderboy from?
Oh, that's a good one, man. I was 15 years old and you had to be 16, but we lied about my age. And I had my first kickboxing fight. I fought a guy who was 26 years old, 20-0. I was 15. And I ended up beating the brakes off the guy. And the announcer, asked my opponent, what you thought about this kid, Wonderboy, or Stephen. And the guy was like, I wondered why. I stepped in the ring with his boy. And the announcer called me Wonderboy. And it stuck with me ever since. So, yeah, man, I'm Wonderboy. I know I'll be 38 in February, but You know, as long as I'm walking out to Tenacious D, Wonderboy, I'll be Wonderboy.
It's a great nickname, right? Thank you so much for your time, Stephen. And where can people find you on social media?
Anytime. They can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Wonderboy MMA, Facebook at Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and go check out my YouTube channel, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Go check it out, man. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you having me on, dude.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, Stephen.